Hello there, welcome back from that short break. You're still watching Sunrise at Sea right here on CTV. Welcome to our views where we have conversations about everyday life situations that impact and affect our lives in every way whatsoever. So what we do is we get a topic of conversation, or somebody just has to be triggered by something, and then we discuss that issue over here. And we always love to hear your views, so please connect with us across all social media platforms on Facebook and Twitter, where we post our questions of the day, and we love to hear your views as well. My name is Apollo Sarah. In studio with me is Agi Uwase and Priva Elibas. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
How are you? So today I got triggered by something. As you all know, last week on Wednesday, R&B superstar R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison for using his superstardom to subject some fans, some even as young as children that were under the age of 18, to systematic sexual abuse. Well, he was convicted of racketeering and sex trafficking, and last year a trial that gave voice to the accusers who had once wondered if their stories were being ignored because they were black women. Well, his conviction was handed to him by U.S. District Judge. She's called Anne Donnelly, and imposed the sentence on him last week on Wednesday after hearing from several survivors who had attested to how R. Kelly's exploitation had affected their lives. Now, this is where the kicker comes in, and this is where it gets even more interesting. In the week following in his conviction, R. Kelly's streams have increased from 11.2 million to 13.4 million US dollars, while his album sales have climbed by 517%. Well, additionally, his on-demand audio streams rose by 22%, and his video streams increased by 23% compared to the 7 days prior to his trial's conclusion. So this man has just even become richer. Okay, and there are a number of other celebrities in the public eye that have had such scandals with them. Like on your screen you saw Bill Cosby, and he was accused by over 60 women for sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, for groping them, spanning all of 3 decades of his career. And Bill Cosby is is an American comedian, stand-up comedian, and he's also very popular for sitcoms and TV shows like The Bill Cosby Show, Children Say the Darnest Things. I mean, these are people that have greatly impacted social culture, the entertainment industry in the most amazing way. So today, the big question is, should we separate the art from the artist? Okay, because this debate has been on social media since R. Kelly's conviction and when he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. So people are asking, but we love his music, eh? But the guy is also just a sex offender at this point. So people are, torn. So ladies, I'd like to ask you the question, can we surely separate the art from the artist? And it's not even just about this too. Why I gave them as examples, and I want to put this as a disclaimer, why I gave them as examples is because they have been convicted of their crimes that they have been accused of. But we also know a number of people in Uganda who have been accused and have had scandals, around the same thing. It may not be around, sexual crimes, but there's also fraud, there's corruption, there's embezzlement, there's murder. And these are people who are across the board in the education sector, in police, in judiciary, in government, in politics, in entertainment, in media. We know them, but we're not going to give them as examples because they have not yet, been convicted of their said or alleged crimes. So, ladies, can we or should we separate the art from the artist?
Let's separate the art from the artist. That
Why?
Is what I would say.
Why would you say that?
Let me first talk about because initially it was, can we separate the personality from, from the person? And there you cannot, because at the end of the day, the good and the wrong things that you do are what make up you as a person. However, the art is different. I'll talk about the issue of R. Kelly. We love his music. I personally do love his music. His music has nothing to do with what he did, sexually offending these little girls. His music has been inspirational to people out there. There is when you're probably feeling down and you're listening to Storm is Over, right?
Yeah.
And you feel like it kind of encourages you that you know that at the end of the day you'll get, yes, at the end of the day you might get through it. So for me, honestly, I have seen this thing on social media, let's boycott R. Kelly's music. The man is in prison, right? He's going to serve 30 years. And that is absolutely, I mean, right that he gets to serve that sentence. Or even more. It could have been life. I would totally be okay with that. But the music is, let's separate it from him as a person, because it's inspirational music. It's good music out there. You talked about his streams actually going up. The reason why his streams are going up right now, it's like, when a celebrity does a scandal, if they are an actress, everyone will go back to watch their movies, to actually see, to try and connect their art to their personality. So I think multiple people are doing that, because they're trying to find if there were any indicators in his music that he was a sexual offender. Because sometimes people, what they actually do, especially artists, you find their music out there speaks of who they actually are. So I think that's why people are doing that, not because, okay, let's try and, not add him, but like, let's make him richer even after this. But he does have his diehards. I've seen people on social media talking about, you know what, R. Kelly, we could have actually forgiven him. He has done, by the way, he also did multiple things to do with charity. He did that as well. You can commend him for that, yes, even when he has done the other wrong, bad things that he has done, and the reason why he's in prison at the moment. Let's applaud him for the good things that he did. I don't believe in the notion that the good surpasses the bad surpasses the good. That when you're a good person, you've done all these good things, that one bad thing should erase every other good thing that you have done. I don't believe in that notion. For that reason, listen to his music. By all means, please, you can go and even listen today.
What you say?
You see, celebrities like R. Kelly, how would I put it, just for lack of a better word, they think they're almighty. They think they're untouchable. And what even makes it worse, it's their fans who idolize them, and they feel like these people would never do wrong. They will never do anything wrong in their eyes. One time is a mistake.
Yeah.
Too many times is something that is very deliberate. This is like
It's
a
a
part of
habit
you. It's
now.
a habit. R. Kelly's things go way back in the early 1990s.
Yes.
He was married to an underage lady, Aaliyah. Everyone knows that. From that, I think around 2002, he was also in court for child pornography and
Yes.
something else. He was acquitted. 2008, there was a clip suggesting that he was having sex with an underage girl. And he walked scot-free from court. In fact, what he did actually, he went to a certain church and sang with young kids after being let go. Do you see how twisted this man is?
It may not
Do you
just
see how
be
twisted this
like,
man
there's
is?
so many twisted
There
people
have
out
to be
there.
consequences, guys. There have to
Yes.
be consequences for your actions. I'll be the first person to say, mute R. Kelly.
But
I do not care what he did. I don't care about Storm is Over. I don't care about his charity. His deeds speak for themselves. He's a twisted man.
All right.
Yeah.
Sarah, can I say just
Okay.
one thing? Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, we are Christians. You might be Muslim out there. And we say that, we are human beings, and we sin every now and again. And we ask God for forgiveness. What if God actually held us accountable for all our sins, and he took away everything that he has given us?
Agi,
Would you want that?
14 years to
Because here's the
17
thing.
years?
R. Kelly is serving his 30-year sentence, and that is
He
good
should have
enough.
gotten more.
I mean, that's okay for me. I don't mind that he's in prison, but can we listen to his music? That should be okay. We shouldn't
This is-
coerce people into boycotting R. Kelly.
Well, see, this is the thing. Both your points are quite valid, but then again, there's the question of accountability. There are consequences, and that is why we even have laws and constitutions in the law. I mean, in every country in this world, or every rather society, because if you do break the rules or break the laws, they're going to be, consequences to them. And even if it means, eradicating and destroying your legacy, that people are going to go on to do that because you did those things. Now, the thing about R. Kelly is that he has continued to plead innocent. He says he's not guilty of these crimes. However, you did talk about his songs and how uplifting his songs are. But some of his songs were quite raunchy and quite questionable. I'll give you an example. He released the hit track Age Ain't Nothing But a Number in 1994, featuring Aaliyah. At the time, she was 14 years old, and they had actually gotten married at the time. And in the song, he did, there's a lot of very questionable lyrics because Aaliyah is singing and she's pleading with an older lover to let her in, and age is nothing but a number. Do you understand? And then there's the other song, Bad Vibe, and the title of the song is She's Got the Vibe. And in the song, he references Aaliyah and says, and I quote, "Girl, you turn me on, and I wonder if I could take you home. I must confess, that tight miniskirt you wear, I just can't help it, baby. I can't help but stare." And he references her and he calls her a sweet little Aaliyah in the lyrics of the song. And also there's also the song Down Low. These are all very sensual songs. And I mean, whenever if you found yourself in the mood of trying to be romantic with your partner, you have literally played the songs at least once, so it does come up in a playlist somewhere. But the song on the Down Low is basically speaking to, or rather hinting to, his personal patterns of keeping keep it a secret, keep the affairs a secret. And that is actually what he did to all these girls. He told them, please keep the affairs a secret. Don't tell your parents, don't tell anybody. Some of them were subjected to the harshest of punishments when they even tried to tell anybody. They were bound, they were beaten. Even his ex-wife has spoken of
about
abuse. Yes. If you've watched the documentary Surviving R. Kelly, you will definitely see anything. But besides that,
yes,
what?
there are some ladies actually, because they were saying after convicting R. Kelly, can we also convict the women, like mothers to these children who were actually, accepting these things to go on? There are certain ladies who were,
who sold their kids.
Yes, to R. Kelly, because they thought it comes with money, it comes with fame. Okay, they let these things go on when they knew.
This man took these
look at this.
They knew
exactly
man took these
what was
kids
going
under
on.
his wing to mentor them, to teach them about music, to give them a platform. That was what he used to reel all these girls into his how would I call it, his sex dungeon or whatever it is. I'm so disgusted by R. Kelly that I can't even contain my disgust for him.
I'll only put it in this setting. That's maybe when you will get it properly.
Okay,
because here's the thing. Even in Uganda at the moment, I mean, I'll talk about those other places out in the outskirts of Kampala. You find parents who are willing to sell off their children for a head of cattle. I don't know, is that even the right word? Yes. So that is the same thing. There were these ladies who were actually allowing this behavior to go on because they were getting some handouts from R. Kelly. Can we not be hypocrite?
No.
If we are convicting, yes, R. Kelly, we have convicted him, and also let's convict these other women who have enabled this kind of behavior to go on.
I have a question. Let us bring
watched
this.
the
Let us bring that example back home. We have had stories, or rather, there are stories that have that have come to our attention, or rather, in the media, of say head teachers that have taken advantage of their students, impregnated them, abused them, harassed them in one way or the other. And some of these head teachers have been at the forefront of the educational. Have made some of the biggest contributions in the education system. The thing is, should we also hold them to the same standard? Because not much is really done about that here in our country, and we have seen a lot of people, go scot-free even after the victims speak up against it. So should we also hold them accountable for their reactions? Or this is a special case because he made good music, we should let him go free?
Let's hold everyone accountable for their actions at the end of the day. I think R. Kelly is just an example of so many other people out there, even other artists. We're talking of R. Kelly referencing Aaliyah. Look at this hip-hop, in the hip-hop world right now. There's a lot of vulgarity, yes, a lot of that, a lot of, I don't know, cussing and all those things, and even they say some of those words, but it's just, I think it's about R. Kelly. I think he went overboard with this. There's so many people who are doing these things undercover.
I think maybe
this was like a wake-up call that we should now be more keen, not just on artists, not just on musicians, but every other person. You talked about head teachers. There are some who get, they cover up these stories because of who they are, because they are prominent, they are rich, they have all
even
this,
religious leaders.
Even religious leaders as well.
Yeah.
That is the reason why Pope Benedict the 16th, resigned.
Yes.
Because he couldn't. Let me not put it out there.
Yes, I like the fact that the celebrities do not just stop from being musicians. We have, like you mentioned, the Pope, religious figures. We have filmmakers, film stars, and all that stuff. But I think for me, going back to the R. Kelly issue, I like the fact that actually the judge said, this is not about sex. This is about you sexually violating these girls. This is about control. This man used his control, used his fame
Yes.
to put in place a system where he could get all these girls and use them for whatever he wanted.
Yes. So for me personally, I think we should not separate the art from the artist. We need to hold them accountable, because you see, this is how the devil works. Okay, this is exactly how the devil works. And if you're ever looking for a humanification of how the devil works, or an example of how the devil works, just look at people who have contributed a lot to society and use that to gaslight and cover up their wrong deeds. That's exactly, it's giving with one hand and taking with the other. So because I have created great music for everybody benefited, I mean, R. Kelly has been everywhere, in our schools, in our churches, at our weddings, everywhere. His music goes everywhere, and we have loved his music. But you see, he used that as a point for taking advantage of people, and that for me is just a no-no. And actually, I have found it very difficult to even listen to any of his music after the Surviving R. Kelly documentary.
Same here, same here.
It has been a very it has been a very difficult pill to swallow. And I think it's very important that we hold people accountable. Let me give another example of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. When she first came up and made these accusations and saying that he was abusing her or being abusive towards her, society held him accountable and gave him and told him, you know what, come and defend yourself. All right, and he later on did and won that case against her for her defaming him and telling lies. I think maybe R. Kelly also needs his day in court to actually speak, because he never spoke at his hearing. He never gave his side.
Because he's guilty. He's going to incriminate himself. He's going to incriminate himself. Honestly, people like R. Kelly have no place in our society.
That's
You
why
see,
they
the
are
funny thing-
behind bars.
Yes,
They
and the
belong
funny thing
behind
about this
bars.
is that it's not even about the young girls. It's about you, an adult who who is supposed to have a sense of responsibility. You know, it's easy for these girls who have been groomed to gravitate towards you, to feel like they love you.
Yes.
But you as a person who is 27 years old, how are you going to convince a 14-year-old, 15-year-old to get married to you? You see, at the end of the day, the problem is you.
Yeah.
You who is supposed to have a sense of responsibility as an older person.
Yes, you are the adult in this equation.
Yeah.
So before we go, any parting shots, ladies? I'll start with you.
I think if we are to, actually, for me, I would love us to literally separate the R. Kelly situation from this whole topic, much as it's a part of it. If we are to convict people and cancel people because of their deeds and, you know, separate their art from who they are, we're about to cancel so many people in this world.
If they should
We'll cancel
Rightfully.
religion, we'll cancel, I don't know, every other workplace that we are at, because there's so many things that go on behind closed doors that we have no idea of. But then again, I think I still stand with what I said. Let's separate the art from the artist. Let him serve his years in prison. Let him be locked behind bars for the rest of his life. That's okay. Let him suffer if he has to. Those who get the death penalty, if you deserve it, you can have it. But let's still listen to the music and, you know, enjoy the art. For me, that's it for me.
Please never separate the artist from the art. Hold them together. That is one person. And at the end of the day, I feel like us as fans, we need to understand that these celebrities, they are mortal. At the end of the day, they're not immortal. They are very mortal. They have demons. They're fighting demons. Some of them are lucky to keep them under covers, and others are not so lucky, just like what happened with R. Kelly.
Yeah,
So for me,
they'll
do
get
not separate
caught.
do not separate the art. Hold them accountable.
Well, for me, my parting shots are separating the art from the artist is very much a personal decision. And it's up to you to figure out what you think is right or wrong. But if you choose to consume art created by a problematic person, make sure you recognize what they did wrong. Exactly. Recognize what they did wrong and don't allow yourself to be influenced by their ways, because we go on to, you know, celebrity worship and adore celebrities that we even subconsciously start, you know, acting like them. And then the last thing is what we need to do is to stop idolizing people that we shouldn't be idolizing. So ask yourself, if it were me in that situation, that in a situation where he was harming me or harming somebody else that I love or know, would I still have the same energy?
sentiment.
Would I still support this person? I think it's very important for us to sit back and ask ourselves these important questions. And also, please find yourself proper mentors and idols, okay? Not just everybody. Not just because you sang a nice tune. No, we'll find other nice tunes. You can be replaced. Well, that is all we had for you in this segment of our views, but please head on to our social media platforms and please let us know, should we separate the art from the artist? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Otherwise, Sunrise at Sea continues. Don't blink.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a good and beautiful day. We had amazing conversations today, and definitely, just like Sarah mentioned earlier, connect with us on our social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at CTV Uganda. Let us know, should we separate the art from the artist? And also the conversation we had earlier in regard to Eid al-Adha that will be taking place tomorrow on the 9th of July. Let us know how you plan on celebrating it. We definitely would like to hear from you. But from the ladies and I and the entire team, have a beautiful Friday and also a happy Eid to all our Muslim brothers and sisters in advance. Have a good day.